The devil hates Latin. This is a truth to which every exorcist will attest. You see, there's a mystery written into the very wood of the cross. Above the sacred head of Christ, a pagan governor, Pontius Pilate, ordered words to be inscribed. Words meant as accusation, words meant as mockery, and yet, guided by a providence that he did not recognize, Pilate proclaimed a truth greater than Rome itself. Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews, not in one tongue, but in three: Hebrew, Greek, Latin, the three languages of the world. Hebrew, the language of revelation; Greek, the language of philosophy; Latin, the language of empire. This was a divine proclamation to his chosen people, to the learned people, to the powerful people. In pride, Pilate declared a charge, but in providence, God declared a king. And so the cross became the first pulpit of Christ's kingship, not whispered to a small tribe in Judea, but announced to the world. From that terrible instrument of death, the church learned something enduring. Language can be consecrated. Words can be taken up into sacrifice. Latin, the language of the Roman Church, did not become sacred merely by history, but by immersion. Latin has been immersed in the blood of the martyrs, in the doctrine of councils, and the prayers of the holy saints. Again, exorcists speak directly about the striking power of Latin. Demons respond with peculiar agitation to the ancient prayers of the Church, not because Latin is magical, but because it is marked. Again, marked by martyrdom, marked by doctrine, marked by prayer. Thus, it is marked by authority of the bride of Christ. The devil hates nothing so much as what has been repeatedly used to defeat him. And we, modern men, dumb everything down to pure rationalism. We have been trained to believe that what is not immediately understood must be immediately discarded. In our post-Enlightenment world, we are suspicious of mystery. We see reverence as inefficient. We see beauty as opposed to utility. But we believe everything scientists say without hesitation, without exception. It makes one wonder, hasn't the rationalist ever seen 1,000 words in the eyes of a lover? What is so rational about that? You see, language is just one medium of understanding. No one stands before Mozart demanding comprehension of every note. No one gazes upon Michelangelo insisting upon analysis of every stroke. Why should divine worship be treated with less poetry than art? The Latin language gives us depth and meaning that goes beyond the lexical meaning of this and that word. The traditional Latin Mass does something radical. It frees us from the tyranny of the mundane and the constant need for explanation. It allows us to step out of the ordinary world, the world of noise, the world filled with plenty of words we understand, but that exhaust us. We need less transaction in life and more transcendence. We need something ancient and luminous to make us feel human once again, for we are overwhelmed by the virtual reality overtaking our lives. You see, language itself is more than vocabulary. A picture paints 1,000 words. A melody can move a soul to tears, even when the words have not been deciphered. A whispered Ave Maria can console more deeply than translation ever could. And when the priest chants, In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti, we are not parsing grammar. We are being drawn upward, drawn inward, drawn into the presence of the living God. And here is yet another reason Latin must remain in our liturgy. Latin endures because it does not drift. Living language shifts like sand beneath the tide. The word nice used to mean stupid. Now it means, well, nice. Meanings blur and nuances fracture, but Latin is immutable. It is stable, fixed, and guarded by centuries of meaning. We have a moral duty to pass along to future generations doctrine, devotions, and the liturgy in a language that will survive the ebbing and flowing of modern language. A dead language may be dead to fashion, but it can be alive to fidelity. We must have the humility to see that liturgy is not just for you and me, but our great-great-great-grandchildren. Imagine if Latin was stripped away from Holy Mother Church. What would my posterity receive? Something broken, something less than they deserve. The church, the future church, must have Latin. It must. Let's turn to the post-conciliar church. How did we get here? We were told the vernacular would guarantee understanding, participation, and be a renewal of faith. What has happened? The exact opposite. An atheist could look at the data and see the obvious. Attendance is at an all-time low. Faith in the real presence is almost statistically non-existent. Reverence is found only in the remnant. This is not surprising. It is predictable. It was predictable. Fidelity is not sustained by comprehension, but by awe, transcendence, by the unmistakable sense that something is happening which does not belong to the ordinary world. Now, does this mean if we restored Latin, then the church would return to her previous glory? No, but it sure would help. The church underwent a wholesale attack from within. And how best to destroy a society? Destroy its language, and the people will speak Babel. Our church today, my friends, is speaking Babel. Our modern liturgies are particularly Babel. You never know what you're gonna get. Latin provides unity, a common language of worship. We become united in the uniqueness of the church. It signals that the Mass is not casual speech, not a discussion, not a performance, but a sacred action, something so sacred that it deserves its own language. Latin is not a barrier, it is a veil, and like the veil of a bride, it does not conceal to exclude, but to reveal rightly. So, why do we pray in Latin? It is the church's inheritance. It is the language of sacrifice. It is the guardian of doctrine. It is the servant of beauty. It is the veil that gently reveals the bride of Christ. And above all, we pray in Latin because divine worship deserves a language not borrowed from the marketplace, but lifted high upon the altar of the Lord.